Hello, boys and girls, and those in between and beyond. Welcome back once again to the Smark and Soul podcast. It's me, the soul, Samantha, and I'm joined by the man who was born with a beard, Jack.
Yeah.
Hello, Jack.
Hello.
How are you
okay?
on this fine evening? I'm good.
Yeah, no, I'm golden. I am reeling over the show that I just watched for this episode that we're going to review because we were there and then I got to relive it.
I know, it's so crazy. It really hit me. There was a few points during the show where it just hit me. I was like, we were actually at this event. That's crazy. Especially during the main event, I was like, wow, we were there. And we didn't buy the t-shirts that said I was there. And maybe we should have, but...
You know what? I got one from Vinted the other month.
Did you?
Yeah, it's an official one as well. So yeah, I've got that in my wardrobe.
I have thought about it, to get them. And I'm like, no, is that kind of cheating? But it's I was there. I just didn't buy an I was there t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I bought just a plain black AEW t-shirt. Because the t-shirt, I remember the t-shirt selection being not very good at All In. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know already and hasn't looked at the title of the podcast or listened to anything we've just said for the first 2 minutes, we are at All In 2024.
Yeah.
An event that Jack and I were physically at. August 25th, 2024, taking place in Wembley, London, England. We had an attendance of 46,476, which is down from the year before, which I think was around the 75 to 80k mark. So it was it was noticeably smaller when we went. You could kind of see empty seats, which is kind of a shame, but I can also kind of understand it. It's the first year it was such a big deal. There hadn't been an event this size in the UK for 30 plus years.
Yeah. People
were going to be hot for it. And then I think 2024 as well, WWE was in the throes of kind of their last hurrah of being decent, whereas AEW had struggled at points during the year. There was a buy rate of between 167 and 173,000, somewhere in that ballpark. And the ticket prices ranged from £30 to £1,500, which is... Yeah, that's 1,500. That's a lot of money. I don't know if I could justify 1,500.
No, it depends. If I was wildly rich, then
yeah,
fine. I might do it, but it just depends on your situation, and I don't think I can safely say neither of us are wildly rich. So.
No, last I checked, there's a minus in front of the number on my bank account. So, yeah, I don't think I'm having £1,500 tickets. Bit of background into this one. So, as All In 2023 drew to a close, and most of us were checking tube timetables or trying to remember where we parked our cars, AEW owner Toni made his way to the ring and announced that All In 2024 would be returning to Wembley Stadium, also on the August bank holiday weekend. We immediately were hyped for this, and I remember being on the train back to Birmingham the day after, and you texted me being like, yeah, I've got the hotel sorted for next year. The tickets hadn't even been mentioned, and it was yeah, we're obviously going back.
Yeah, you got to get there early, get the cheaper hotel.
Exactly, for all that price gouging. The day before the event in 2024, AEW held an event at Box Park, London, which for those that don't know is kind of a fan zone near Wembley, where they'll do I guess kind of tailgating is the best way to describe it. They'll have pre-match parties and stuff like that. But this was titled All In Celebration, which featured music, stage shows, interviews, and early access to All In 2024 merchandise, which, as I'd said earlier, wasn't great, to be honest. I was fairly disappointed with the merch stands. Yeah, that was that. Should we talk a little bit about the fun that was had that weekend? Do you remember much of it?
I don't remember much past I guess 9:30 at night or 10 o'clock maybe.
Yeah.
We were on the beers all day.
We were on them early, yeah.
Yeah, like I said in a previous podcast episode, every time I looked down I just saw you coming up with a bunch of beers. And I was I had a row of 3, and I got 3 of them because I can get through them because I like it, but fucking hell, we were getting through it. So yeah, I don't remember a lot of what happened towards the later bit of the night. And also, to be fair, Sam, we were in the fucking proper nosebleeds. We were able to touch the fucking wall right at the back. We couldn't see shit. We were relying on the screens mostly above the ring, and we were just fucked off our faces, having a great fucking time. Let me stress, it was fucking amazing atmosphere and everything. Yeah, I definitely needed to be reminded of a lot of like spots and nuances that happen between wrestlers in the ring.
Yeah, definitely. There was certainly points watching this show back where I was like, oh yeah, that happened. Like there was one match that I completely misremembered the ending of that we'll get to in a bit. But yeah, I remember we met up at the pub next to the hotel.
Yep.
We had maybe a couple of bevies there. Then we went to Tesco down the road, got some more bevies. Between getting back to the hotel, starting to get dressed and get ready and put a face on and everything like that, and getting to Wembley via the tube, I had drank 4 more cans of neck oil. And then they were doing a deal at the stadium, which in my brain at the time, for some reason, this was a bargain. That it was, you could get 4 pints for £27. And I must have gone 3 times. You went a couple of times.
Easy. I did as well, yeah.
I think Janessa went once as well. So we easily had another 5 or 6 pints in the stadium. I do regret it a bit. Honestly, I was a bit too far gone by the end of the night. I think this year, I've learned my lesson. This year, I'm going to behave myself. I might have a beer, and then that'll be it. That'll be me.
Oh, really?
Sorting.
You're going mostly cold turkey?
I'm gonna try and behave myself. I'm gonna behave myself because
I'm not.
I was messy, Jack. I was messy. I remember we got to the tube station on the way back to the hotel, and I fell up the stairs in the tube station and like ripped my knee open. Like,
oh fuck!
I got a really nasty gash on my knee. Yeah, that was. Oh, and then I got into bed like without properly cleaning all the blood off my knee because I was just hammered. I woke up the next morning and it was like I'd had my period. Like it was so bad on the sheets, and I felt terrible for whoever was going to come in and clean my sheets. And I was like, what happens if they think I've murdered someone or done something really bad, you know? What can you do, eh? Sometimes you just fall up the stairs and you rip your tights and you rip your knee. Let's talk about the show a bit, I suppose. We'll start with the buy-in, which now I normally don't talk about pre-shows, but there was something that happened on this pre-show that I would be remiss if I didn't mention. So I feel like I have to talk about the rest of the pre-show. And nothing says pre-show quite like multi-man tag matches. Opening bout on this pre-show was a 16-man tag match between former Olympic boxer Anthony Ogogo, Arya Daivari, The Dark Order, Jay Lethal, Private Partner, and Satnam Singh against Action Andretti, Kip Sabian, Kyle Fletcher. Yes, Kyle Fletcher was in a 16-man tag match on the pre-show 2 years ago. Leo Rush, Rocky Romero, Tommy Billington, who? I don't know, and Top Flight. The match ended with Dante Martin pinning Arya Daivari. After this, we had a mixed tag match between Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway versus Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii. This was one I was hoping that we would get to the stadium in time for because I like Willow, I like Ishii, I like Statlander, and, you know, Stokely's a fun character. Nightingale and Ishii prevailed, which meant that Willow got to choose the stipulation for her match against Chris Statlander at All Out, which was a street fight, if you remember, and it was a really good match as well. The pre-show main event, was a 10-man tag team match, which pitted Dustin Rhodes, Katsuyori Shibata, Marshall and Ross Von Erich, who was accompanied by their father Kevin Von Erich, and Sammy Guevara against the Cage of Agony and Undisputed Kingdom. Team Rhodes won after Sammy Guevara hit a diving senton on Matt Taven of Undisputed Kingdom. After all of this commotion, here's the bit that I cared about. Saraya, formerly known as Paige, came to the ring with all of her inbred brothers, her mother, and Harley Cameron to declare that it was a disgrace that she didn't have a match on the card. She announced that the show would not go on until she was given a match. that didn't last very long because who made her long-awaited return but Jamie effin Hayter? She was sporting some voluminous bright orange curls and this 70s flower power kind of inspired look. She looked phenomenal, and she chased off the Norwich native and enjoyer of Falling in Reverse's music, much to the delight of those in attendance. So that was your pre-show. I think we got settled in our seats just around the time that maybe the 10-man tag match finished. Because I think that was on, and I was like, oh, well, surely this isn't going to go on after the mixed tag match, right? I was wrong. We then get the opening match of the actual show, which is a 4-way ladder match for the trios titles between Blackpool Combat Club, who are represented by Wheeler Yuta, Pac, and Claudio Castagnoli, versus the Patriarchy, represented by Nick Wayne, Luchasaurus/Killswitch, and Christian Cage. The Bang Bang Gang, who was Colton and Austin Gunn, and Juice Robinson. And the House of Black, who was Buddy Matthews, Malachi Black, and Big Bad Brody King. What did you remember from this match, if anything?
Not like too much, but I remember being like, oh shit, yeah, we're starting off pretty cool. It's such a big show. Like they're making this their flagship show. Their version of WrestleMania almost is All In and All Out occasionally. I don't know, but they've got like a cool fucking hybrid. Whatever they're doing, it's cool. But anyway, this was the point is this was a massive fucking show, and to start off with like a really fast paced ladder match, getting loads of guys on the card, I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's have some fun.
Yeah, it was fun, and it was literally as soon as the broadcast began, all 4 teams were already in the ring. Yeah, I really liked that it was like, okay, no messing about, like we're gonna get into this, and everyone played their part really well. I loved Christian just like running up the ramp straight away and like, nah, fuck this, like I'm not dealing with this because I know y'all are coming for me. But we had, oh my god, there was so many like table spots, ladder spots, and like Malachi Black actually took some back bumps as well.
He did.
I was very surprised at that. I was like, wait, hold on a second. I thought he had a bad back. Oh, it's because he's not getting pinned in this match. Yeah. I see. But yeah, this match was 100 miles an hour from the get-go. We had a spot where Malachi hits a moonsault to the outside. Wheeler Yuta then hits a tope. Buddy Matthews then hits a splash. And there's like 4, probably more. There's like 7 or 8 people just on the outside of the ring. And then Pac hits like a corkscrew dive through the air onto everyone else then. It's wild. Brody King is just like moving like a bull in a china shop, constantly just like cutting people off or like annihilating people. Christian does his like classic, you know, smarmy heel tactics of waiting till everyone else is down and finally returning back to the match and like starting to climb the ladder. We then get a spot with Mother Wayne as well, where she starts like trying to climb the ladder like quite gingerly, and then Austin and Colton like come into the ring and they're like, come on now, let's be serious here, Mother Wayne. And she's like, yeah, no, okay, fair enough. They start like gently shaking the ladder, and she's like, okay, I'm sorry. And then she's involved sort of like in the finish as well. She has a can of like hairspray, and she tries to spray it in Juice Robinson's face, but he like holds up a chair in front of his face, and she misses, or she like hits the chair, and then he sprays her in the face, and then goes to put her through a table, and everyone's like, oh my god, this bitch is gonna like, she's gonna get it, she's gonna be killed. But I think Killswitch, he cuts that one off, saves her. And then they do the whole teasing Killswitch and Christian like split up again, where Killswitch is about to climb the ladder and Christian is like, no, stop it, this is on me, I'm going to be the one that takes the titles, which ends up obviously costing them the match, because Pac ends up getting up the ladder and he pulls down the titles for Blackpool Combat Club, and all of this carnage and chaos and car crash energy took 18 minutes and 15 seconds, which was quite a like breezy 18:50. Like there was a lot of spots that they had to get through, and like I said, everyone like played their part really well. Everyone took bumps, including Malachi Black. It was a lot of fun. What did you make of it?
I thought that all of the guys in this match are like kind of like the Smarky fans' favourites. Like literally every single one of them. And that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. I had a lot of fun with it, both in person at the time and on the rewatch as well, because it was cool seeing the sort of direction and production side of it, and hearing the commentary. Obviously, that's the one big thing that you miss out on when you're in the crowd is the commentary. Yeah, it was a hot start to the show. Everyone was ready to go fucking immediately. You didn't have to waste time on entrances, which was really cool. As for like the winner being Pac, you could have probably just given the win to anyone, and I think anyone would have been fine with that and just been like, yep, that makes sense, which is a good thing as well. It would have been cool. The only downside is maybe there was not enough like multiple competitor spots, if you get what I mean, with like 4 or more guys. There were a few with 4 guys, but it was mostly like, oh, I'm gonna get my shit in with this person, and then it's that person's turn to do that. So there was a little bit of that going on. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
Oh really? You went 3.5? I went 4. I'm surprised that you went like that. I know you normally like a kind of weapony ladder matchy kind of
I do.
deal, so.
I liked it.
But yeah, I get what you mean with the kind of the lack of multi-man spots and stuff like that. It made it feel a bit separated at times from each other. Like obviously you had the spots where everyone was trying to climb the ladder at one point and everyone kept like pulling each other down, or you had the 4 guys go through the ropes onto like bodies on the outside and whatever. But yeah, there wasn't like Towers of Doom spots and stuff that you expect from like, say, a Money in the Bank ladder match. Yeah. Which I think any kind of multi-man ladder match is really, it's going to get compared to nowadays, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the old TLCs as well that set the benchmark 20 odd years ago, more than 25 years ago. They set the benchmark so fucking high that nothing has really been able to top it. Like occasionally you get really fucking good matches, and I thought this was a great match and everything. It doesn't reach those heights.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I said 4 just because it was fun.
It is fun. Yeah,
I think everyone did a good job. Moving on to our second match, which I was kind of surprised that this was on so early because of the storyline going into it. So the next match is for the AEW Women's World Championship, and that is between Mariah May and the champion Toni Storm. The background for this one is sort of in 2023, Mariah May debuted in AEW. She'd been working for, I think, Shimmer beforehand, and AEW were like, we like you, come over, work with us. So she debuted in AEW as a super fan of Toni Storm. She was obsessed with the Hollywood starlet character, and honestly, babes, get in line. It's the rest of us are the same. But initially Toni was kind of turbed by Mariah and a bit freaked out and didn't really like it, but eventually she took her on as her understudy and guided her kind of ascension up the card. And the angle took on some like romantic elements at times, which is classic Toni Storm of like, are they lesbians? Or are they just friends? Are they good friends? Are they roommates? Or are they lovers? But Toni gifted Mariah a spot in the Owen Hart Cup where the winner would face Toni Storm for the AEW Women's Championship at Wembley. So Mariah won the tournament, and in the celebrations with her tutor, she turned on Toni and she attacked her with the championship belt and then viciously assaulted her with a high-heeled shoe, which was, it's such like an amazing image of like Toni bawling on the stage. She's like covered in blood. she's donning the proverbial crimson mask, and Mariah's just like stood over her with this like bloodied shoe, having done the unthinkable, and like the heat that she got from that. I remember there's that one segment on Dynamite beforehand where Mariah came out dressed as Toni Storm.
Yeah.
And the crowd kind of like cottoned down that it was her, and fucking Tony Schiavone's like, oh, just shut up, you bitch. Yeah. And like even the commentators were like, whoa, Toni, what the fuck, man? But yeah, that's how we get here. And as Toni is making her entrance, her grand entrance, they show like this little cinematic showing like the original Wembley, and it's a picture of Toni Storm standing outside it, and it says Toni Storm Wembley 1924. And it kind of gave me Shining vibes, you know, at the very end when they like zoom in on that photo and it's like New Year's Eve 1930 or whatever, and it's Jack Nicholson. It was a bit creepy, but also it was kind of fun too. But the crowd are really hot for this match as soon as the bell rings, because it had been built up so well. And both women are just like so good in their roles. And Toni Storm is just this character of hers, Hollywood starlet, the slut you can't rebut. She's amazing, but she has this look on her face that she's like, she doesn't want to do this. She's like face to face with Mariah, and she can't believe that it's kind of come to this. Like she wishes it hadn't. They've got to do it, and they both just start like throwing punches at each other, going for finishers early. We get a shot of Mina Shirakawa as well, sitting in the royal box, and she gets like a big pop. They show her a couple of times because obviously she was a former tag team partner of Mariah May and a friend of Toni Storm's, so she's kind of like torn between the two women. Mariah is kind of like in charge at the beginning of the match, but then she makes the mistake of doing a double chop to Toni's chest, which just like makes her hulk up, I guess. And then Toni misses a hip attack, which allows Mariah to hit like a really nasty looking powerbomb to the floor on Toni. And then she spits in the face of Luther, which was like, oh my God. And then to make it even worse, her mother, Mariah May's mother, is sitting at ringside. Mariah May goes over to her mother and slaps her mother in the face. How can you do this? But then it all comes back around, and Mama May lives out the dream of many men and women as Toni clutches her to her bosom to console her. And she looked very happy with that. But she hits Mariah then with a Storm Zero on the steel steps and busts her open, which I thought was nice that we get that kind of parallel of like Toni gets busted open by the high heel on that, all those weeks ago in the tournament final, and now Toni kind of gets her pound of flesh, so to speak, back on Mariah. They get back inside the ring. They both exchange a cunt punt and a headbutt to each other. And then Mariah goes to like grab the title to use it, but Luther kind of like grabs it off her and flips her the bird in like this final sort of act of defiance. But Toni gets the bloodied shoe and she wants to use it on Mariah, but she can't bring herself to do it. And that's where Mariah takes advantage, and she hits Toni with the Storm Zero and actually wins. She uses her opponent's finisher and actually wins the match. She pins Toni Storm. She wins the Women's Championship in 15 minutes and 15 seconds. This was drama. I don't think I've done it quite justice. What do you make of this one?
Well, it was arguably the best story, both, like you said, in drama and within kayfabe, and with all the emotions swirling around going into the event and into the match, and I think it delivered.
Yeah.
Giving it the second spot on the card was a bold move, but I think it was a move that paid off, honestly. Toni Storm, fucking hell, how many good things can I say about her? Jeez. She's incredible. She's going to go down as one of the greats. And we're currently living through her prime, really, and it's a fucking great time.
Yeah.
I loved everything about this match. She played the sort of reluctant mentor really well.
Yeah.
And she was heartbroken. Mariah May played the young, cocky, upstart protege who thinks she's, better really, really well. It's a simple story, one that we've seen played out many, many times across many mediums and many forms, but this was a really cool take on it, I thought.
Yeah.
And I just loved the spot where Mariah May goes and kisses Nigel McGuinness and then he can't stop smiling.
I can't believe I forgot about that. Yeah, that was fantastic. Because, he was... Okay, I will say this.
He was on fire during this match, wasn't he, as well, on comms?
Do you know what? I actually thought he was a bit too much during this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought the kind of simping over Mariah was just a bit much for me in this one. But, normally I am a fan of his work, but I think I don't know, maybe he was excited because of what was going to come up later in the night. I can forgive him for that. It wasn't anything like a Jerry Lawler commentary performance. No. But it got close to the line. But yeah, like you said, this kind of mentor versus protege story it's something that we have seen a lot before. It can be done to death, but when it's done well, it's really good. It all kind of depends on those story beats that you hit and how invested you are going to get into the characters. And I think just, like you said, Toni Storm, she's in her prime. Unfortunately, badly injured right now, so we don't know when we'll get to see her again. But everything she touches at the moment is gold. And it's such a shame that Mariah May left AEW, not too long after this and went to the quote-unquote land of opportunity and is now, you know, in NXT. But the good times were there. I went 4.25 stars for this match. What did you think?
I went for 4, so yeah, very, very similar. I thought the whole match was just fucking cinema, wasn't it? And even afterwards, Toni having that sort of breakdown and dancing maniacally down the aisle. And I mean, obviously, yeah, Mariah using Toni's own move to beat her, sorry. Yeah, all of that cinema, fucking great. Yeah, 4 out of 5. Yeah. And yeah, good.
Yeah, it was a nice little touch because it's so often we see wrestlers use their opponent's move and not put them away. So it was nice especially for the story that was being told, for that to be the thing that I don't think
they should be afraid to do that now and then. You know, if it adds to the story and it's like, oh yeah, no, fuck, you're rubbing salt in the fucking wound there. That's just something that doesn't really happen anymore, like getting a pinfall on it. But yeah, wrestlers
barely finish with their finishers now anyway, you know. They have to do it kind of like 4 times to do it. Up next, we have, it says here, a Fozzy concert. It's Chris Jericho with Big Bill and Brian Keith versus Hook. Chris Jericho is kind of at like the height of his please retire era.
Yeah.
When everyone was like, you are way past it. Like, he was, and watching this match as well, you could see he was not in the best shape of his life at all. And people were kind of sick of it. And he had the Jericho vortex that people would get stuck in, where they would just feud with Jericho for God knows how long, and nothing would come of it. No one would move anywhere on the card. You would just, it's kind of like people who feud with The Miz.
Yeah.
In WWE, and I think that's one of the biggest insults I can give someone, is to compare you to The Miz. Anyway, we get another Fozzy performance at Wembley. This is the second year in a row, obviously, so that Chris Jericho can say, you know, when all is said and done, that he has performed twice at Wembley Stadium. This match, by the way, is for the FTW Championship, which is not a recognised championship in AEW, but it's a thing that people fight over.
Yeah,
so the match is contested under FTW rules, which basically just means it's an ODQ match. Jericho, I will say this about Jericho during this period, was that, like, yes, people were kind of baying for blood and wanting him to retire, but he did kind of try his best to turn that into a gimmick.
Yeah.
With the learning tree and the whole hi guys, like really annoying stuff. You know, I'll give the devil his due. Like, he will try and make anything work, and even if it doesn't, like, I've got to give you credit for at least trying something.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have just took it as a sign to, you know, say goodbye. But anyway, the learning tree, which is Jericho, as I said, Big Bill and Brian Keith, they start off with this like 3-on-1 assault on Hook, which ends with a code breaker from Jericho, which Hook kicks out of at 1. And I don't think this quite got the pop that the people in the ring hoped or kind of expected that it would. The crowd just kind of went, oh, Big Bill is the most over man in this match, by the way.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the whole deal was. I think it was kind of a memey, ironic thing that everyone was just like going crazy for Big Bill.
Yeah.
I don't really remember that well. I was quite drunk, just like in general, you know, during this time of my life. But the crowd like cheers him every time he interferes, and anytime Hook like fights him off, they boo Hook. We get a fun spot with some cricket balls introduced to the match, because, you know, we're in England. And then Hook pulls out a cricket bat and gets to work on his 3 adversaries before he chucks some cricket balls at Jericho. Those things are heavy. I don't know if you've ever felt a cricket ball, but those things they're not light. Same with like a cricket bat. Like that, there's a thud to those, you know? Yeah. It's not fun, I would imagine. No. But then we get another kind of big pop moment that falls somewhat flat when Hook removes his eye patch and reveals, oh my god, he can see, because the whole thing going into this was that Jericho was trying to recruit Hook for the learning tree. Hook was like, nah, I'm good. And they burned Hook's face with some fire paper. And so he was wearing an eye patch, and then at the end he takes it off and he's like, I'm only kidding. It's like, okay. The crowd was just like, right, okay. Big Bill takes a big tumble through a barbed wire garnished table after being cracked in the head by a pool cue accidentally from Jericho. And Taz, who is on commentary, gets sick of Brian Keith's interruptions, and he locks in a Taz mission while Hook makes Jericho tap to the Red Room in 10 minutes and 15 seconds, which was a nice little father-son moment. And Hook is now, once again, FTW champion. What did you make of this one, Jack?
It was fine, I guess.
It was a bit of fun.
Yeah, it was a nice little break because you can't just have bangers on all pay-per-view every pay-per-view, can you? I guess so. Yeah, it was nice to see Taz getting involved to help out his son, even the odds somewhat, but the title doesn't mean anything. And I mean, you said it pretty much in no uncertain terms. Jericho fucking sucked at this point.
Yeah, he was real bad.
The cricket balls stuff, yeah, that was fun, just seeing cricket balls being cunted at Jericho.
Yeah, like really through them. Like,
yeah. I'll say that I'll give it 2.25 out of 5, and with a question towards Chris Jericho, which is, where was your wife on January 6th?
I think we were chanting that again, weren't we?
Yeah, I'll chant it to him every time I see him.
Yeah, I actually went 3 stars on this one.
Did you?
I thought it was, it was a goof and a gaff. You know, it was silly, fun. You know, Hook, God bless him, he just can't get over, can he? Like,
no, and that's such a shame because he's sort of trying behind the scenes, but then his character is like, he needs to look effortlessly cool and stuff, and it's I
think he's cursed by being so good looking.
Honestly,
that he can't look like he cares about anything. And I just wonder, like, has Taz had a paternity test? Because there's no way that is Taz's son. Like,
apparently
they look nothing alike.
No, they don't.
I think this might be a Dominic Ray situation all over again. You know, Tony Khan, there's an idea for you. If you want to book a Taz being cooked storyline. There you go. But moving on from that, we get some lovely triple threat tag team action. We have FTR versus the Young Bucks versus the Acclaimed, who are accompanied, as always, by Daddy Ass Billy Gunn.
Oh, yeah.
All 3 of these teams are over as Rover with the crowd, and the crowd are hype as hell for this
and
one.
And with me, and with you.
And yes, we were big fans of all 3 of these teams, still are, really. But the Young Bucks, unsurprisingly, come to the ring wearing like a Beatles-themed gear, as Justin Roberts introduces them as being dressed as colourful as their personalities and putting out more hits than the Beatles, which, controversial, but true, to be honest. The Acclaimed entrance then starts with an "Oh Scissor Me Daddy" football style chant to get everyone into it, and the people do join in loudly. Max Caster comes out and does a rap about the opponents, stating that FTR look like members of the EDL, which got a big pop, and says, I think this was in reference to the Young Bucks' Reebok shoes, because I went back a couple of times to try and listen to this line and couldn't quite make it out. But he says that the only thing the Young Bucks had to pump was their penises. So that was funny. But yeah, this match was, I don't want to say predictably chaotic, because I don't want to use the word predictable in line with this match, because this match was really good. But, it was, you would imagine this match going in would be chaotic, and it was. There was a lot of fun spots in here, such as a double scissor me timbers on the Bucks. Dax Harwood hit a 2-man German suplex on the Bucks. There was a 4 corners top rope spot where all of the people taking the move got their knees up. Mm-hmm. Max Caster then got involved with an EVP trigger and a shatter machine. Mm-hmm. Billy Gunn hit like a really crisp famouser at one point as well, and then also took a brutal super kick from, I think it was Matt Jackson. Billy Gunn just stays in tremendous shape. He's just like the Acclaimed's jacked dad. But ultimately, however, the wily heel champions use one of the title belts, which was kind of a smart spot, because I think it was Matt went to use the belt and the referee caught him and took it off him. But obviously they're the tag titles, so there's 2 belts. And so as the referee's back is turned, Nick uses the title belt on, I think it's Dax. And then they hit an EVP trigger for the win and retention in 30 and 32. But that's not all, because the grizzled young veterans... Jack, I gotta ask you a question. What football team do you think that the grizzled young veterans support?
You know what? I don't know. I don't think they've given any indication whatsoever in public spaces that would allow us to make that conclusion.
Yeah, so they came out wearing these red shirts. Well, one of them was in a red shirt, one of them was in a white shirt, and they had some red and white scarves on. So my guess would be Alfreton Town, maybe.
Yeah, I think
they wear red and white.
Yeah, they do, and that's a good shout. To be fair,
thank you. That's my non-league football knowledge coming into play. But yeah, they get in the face of the Young Bucks, who back out. And they're like, nah, we don't want any of this. And then they go after FTR and the Acclaimed and kind of like announce their arrival in AEW, which never really went anywhere.
No.
Which is a shame because they're a really good tag team. I've seen them like live before. And yeah, I think they could have brought a lot to that tag team division. I think them versus FTR would have been really cool.
That's money.
Yeah, I went 4.25 for this one. I don't think this was as good as the Young Bucks versus FTR the previous year. I also think that the Acclaimed should have taken the win here.
Probably. Just
because of how over they were at the time. I think that the crowd would have popped hard for it. But it was still, it was still an excellent tag team match. It was better than anything that you would see on a WrestleMania card involving tag teams.
Oh, God, yeah.
Let's put that out. But yeah, it was, it was good. 4.25, fuck me, it was really good. Yeah, I just didn't think it was as good as the previous year's tag title match. What do you think?
I gave it 3.5. So...
You're being a right prick today.
Yeah, I know. Like, the thing is I think these... Especially in the Young Bucks and FTR's case, they're victims of their own success. They've had so many good to great matches and then so many fucking excellent 5-star and beyond matches as well. That just, this is like, it's great. Like, I really enjoyed it. It's 3.5 out of 5, 7 out of 10 equivalent. It means I had a great time and it's well above average and stuff, but it just doesn't reach those fucking heights.
It's a good thing, isn't it, to be like, this team is so good. Like both these, all three of these teams really are so good that when a match isn't like a complete instant classic, that it can be a bit disappointing because you know that they're capable of putting on such good matches.
It's the context in which it's being watched as well. Like, I have those filters to apply onto it because I know these teams, and the FTR were putting on bangers in 2015 in NXT, weren't they? It's 10 years. It's like, I know them. Whereas someone who's just curious about wrestling is like 16 or something, if they watch this, it might be their 5-star match and they might continue to give it 5 stars for the rest of their life because it got them into that. And that's an amazing thing if that's true, and it probably is true because there was a lot of people at Wembley and there was a lot of kids and families and stuff, and that was great to see. It's just I've got to put on my naturally smarky filtery hat, and it's still a great match. But and like, fucking right, apart from the negatives, right, the Acclaimed are fucking over as rover, like you said. They're amazing. Even the family that was sat right next to us, they had a fucking sesame foam finger, and I mean, I think they just went because it was cheap tickets. They were so confused when the Acclaimed actually came out, and I was like, these are your dudes, you've got the foam finger. And they're like, we have no idea what's going on, but it was good to see, the Young Bucks, FTR, all good. I'll always love singing along to the FTR theme.
Oh yeah, it's so catchy.
It's really catchy, and they're all great tag teams, and the match was good. So
no, that's fair enough. Next, by the way, folks, I'm not skipping over any like backstage segments or B-roll shit. Like, this is what an AEW pay-per-view does. Yeah,
no
they might show
backstage skits with fucking Santino Marella trying to sell you fucking cereal.
Exactly. You might get a hype package before a match, but other than that, it's action all the way through. That's how you can fit 10 matches into a 4-hour show and, have them not be like 4.5 minutes long. But up next, we have the Casino Gauntlet match. Now, I want to say this. I have been critical in the past about the whole Casino Battle Royale format and things like that. I much prefer this
was
over
really
the Battle
cool.
Royale. I think this is a much better way to do it as a gauntlet match. I also like the fact that they stated on commentary that there was 21 men had drawn numbers for this.
Yeah.
We don't get as far as 21. No. Because the match ends before then, and I like that. I like that it can.
It's really cool.
It's not going to be the first sort of 4 or 5 guys. Fair, because that would just be too short, and I feel like people would be shortchanged by that. But it could feasibly end at any point. Our first entrant into the match is Orange Cassidy, who does like this little Mr. Bean style entrance, which I really liked. And then he comes out to the Pixies' Where Is My Mind? And they show like a drone shot of Wembley and a single orange firework shoots up
so cool.
out of the rafters. Big fan of that. Entrant number 2 then was Kazuchika Okada.
We went fucking insane.
We went nuts because we were like, holy shit, Kazuchika Okada is here in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
Nuts. And he's not long signed with AEW at this point, and aligned himself with the Young Bucks and is playing this just fantastic, kind of goofy heel character, but like it's goofy in a way that it doesn't sort of belittle him because he can still go in the ring and he's still, he's the Continental Champion. He's the guy. Like it's kind of Kurt Angle-esque in a way that he's silly and goofy, but don't mess about with him in the ring. So we get this spot at the beginning where Okada and Orange Cassidy go in for a hug, and Okada like turns to the hard cam and he's like got this big grin on his face and it just goes blank all of a sudden, and it's just perfect. Like his facial reactions and stuff, he's so good at it.
Oh yeah.
And it's amazing to think that like this is the first time he's ever kind of done this character. So he must just be sort of like this in real life, just like a silly, goofy guy. Okada goes for a Rainmaker at one point. Orange Cassidy blocks it by sticking his hands in his pockets. And we then get a countdown for the third entrant. I mean, if we went nuts for Okada coming out. Entrant number 3, a man who retired 12 years ago, and we thought was done wrestling because of medical purposes. Nigel McGuinness makes his way to the ring, and we and the 45,000+ other people in attendance. If the roof had been on Wembley, the roof would have come off for this. It went fucking ape shit. He's in fantastic shape as well. Taz gets furious because he's like, wait, does this mean I'm going to have to work Saturdays now as well? Obviously referring to Nigel McGuinness being the Collision commentator. But yeah, he comes in, he goes after Okada, they have some catch-as-catch-can wrestling, and then we get entrant number 4, Zack Sabre Jr. Like, this is just banger after banger after banger entrance. Like, the countdown starts and everyone's hype. It's like, oh, fun, countdown, yay, we love to count. And then it's Zack Sabre Jr.'s music hits and you're like, oh my fucking god. And immediately everyone starts thinking Zack Sabre Jr. and Nigel McGuinness in the same ring as each other.
Yeah.
Because they are one and the same, but they're two generations, or, two separate generations. And so obviously those two square off with each other and do some like incredible stuff, twisting each other like pretzels. I used to not be a fan of Zack Sabre Jr. because, I don't know, I think when I started getting back into wrestling, I was just so fed-pilled that I just couldn't believe that a guy who looked like him could win wrestling matches. But then you actually watch a Zack Sabre Jr. match, and you go, oh, that's how he can win matches. Because he also, like, he has all the technical ability, but then he's also good at, like, the strong style wrestling as well, and he makes it believable. And he has also, in the last couple of years, he has bulked up a bit too, which has made it, like, a bit more believable. Entrant number 6 is Roderick Strong, who, unfortunately, he doesn't get the biggest pop.
No.
But Roderick Strong is amazing. I was happy to see him and chant shitty little boots at him, and no one else around me got the reference, but that's okay. But yeah, Roderick Strong comes in and just starts giving everyone backbreakers. He's incredible. I love mustachioed Roderick Strong. I think that look suits him very well. But we don't get very long between Roderick Strong and the next entrant, which is Reach for the Sky, boy. Mark Briscoe, the Ring of Honor champion. Or is he television champion? He's one of the Ring of Honor champions. He comes in. Crowd's hot for him too. Surprise, surprise. The crowd is hot for everyone in this match because everyone in this match is incredible. And he comes in, he starts doing his he starts doing his kung fu stuff, basically. But he gets whooped by Okada. Orange Cassidy and Mark Briscoe are in a faction together, the Conglomeration, so they do a bit of teaming up with each other. And then we get the entrant number 8. Be Still My Beating Heart. Hangman Adam Page is here. Listen, I consider myself a lesbian, okay? However, there's something about that cowboy, man. There's something about him. Especially when he was in this angry, the righteous man character with the mustache instead of the beard. Wow, incredible. But he is obviously on a tear because his goal is to take the world championship off of Swerve Strickland by any means necessary. Oh, I don't think I even mentioned, but the winner of the Casino Gauntlet match gets a contract similar to kind of the Money in the Bank, where you can challenge for the world title at any point. So Hangman Adam Page is in here to do that. Then the next entrant is Jeff Jarrett, who gets a big pop. He comes out with his wife Karen, who's looking very glamorous. She's got this big like drag queen yellow dress on. She's got her hair all done. She looks lovely. But also shout out to Jeff Jarrett, by the way, because he's 60, right? He's around 60 years of age. He still is moving in the ring really, really well. Like he's keeping pace with everyone. I know it's funny to meme on Jeff Jarrett and say like, oh, he never drew a dime and listen up Slapnuts and all that. And that's fair enough. In the 90s, he wasn't a world champion guy. But I think this role that he had in AEW, where he would kind of be almost like a gatekeeper to sort of the higher sections of the card, not necessarily that he was a main eventer himself, but that he was revered. And, he had those relationships with the likes of Adam Page and Bryan Danielson, and he was kind of looked up to as like a locker room leader. So I enjoyed Jeff Jarrett in AEW. I think he knows his place, and he still has good matches. Like, and it's just, it's a world of difference looking at him versus maybe someone like, I don't know, Ric Flair, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
He comes out and Hangman Adam Page is not happy to see him because he's been at odds with Jeff Jarrett for the last couple of months since Hangman's kind of heel turn during the whole Swerve storyline. Entrant number 10, speaking of fucking insane pops, Ricochet is here. The lineup in this match is just, it's ridiculous. I missed out Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly was an entrant in this match, by the way. I'm so sorry. My apologies to Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly, I am actually a big fan. I am a big Kyle O'Reilly fan. I got to Ricochet and I was like, hold on, I'm sure I mentioned Kyle O'Reilly, did I? No, I didn't. Yes, Kyle O'Reilly was also in this match. Very cool. Very like Kyle O'Reilly, very much. Do you think he'll forgive me now?
I don't know, because he ends up taking the pin, doesn't he?
He does end up taking the pin. But that's not my fault. I didn't book this shit. Okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, Ricochet is next. He's the hottest free agent in professional wrestling. Not long been released. Or did he ask for his release from the Fed? Or was he part of the spring cleaning releases?
I can't remember. I don't know. It was either end of contract or release.
Yeah. Either way, he's here in AEW now. We went nuts for it.
Yeah.
Everyone else went nuts for it because, surprise debut. I don't think it was. I kind of remember at the time it being talked about that maybe he would show up in some form at All In, like maybe he would be in the crowd or something, and they would cut to him, kind of like they did with Mercedes Moné the previous year. Yeah, but then to see his Tron come up with his name, it was pretty cool. And he does his Ricochet flippy shit. I enjoy his heel character, the stuff that he's doing now.
Just being an annoying cunt.
Yeah, it suits him. Who'd have thunk it? But then we get entrant number 11, making his second appearance tonight. It's the Father of the Year, Christian Cage, who, again, gets a massive pop. And he's trying to avoid taking as much damage as possible because he's just been in a match previously. So before long, we're joined by the 12th and final entrant. They refer to him as Luchasaurus this time around. I'm going to call him Luchasaurus this time. I'm sorry if this is like, does this count as dead naming? It's Pride Month. Like, am I... If anyone can get away with it, it's me, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have the pass. I can say the T-slur. But yeah, we get into kind of the final bits and pieces of the match. They tease again the split up of Christian and Luchasaurus, which I think at times they did this a bit too much. Yeah. And that they were kind of like, oh, the moment's not quite perfect for it. They tease it again. Luchasaurus hits Kyle O'Reilly with a choke slam. Christian takes the win after 26 minutes. Was this match full of technical wrestling mastery? No. Did it need to be? Also no. I think this was just... It was so fun from start to finish, and it just had like moment after moment of like these huge pops. and fun spots and like these dream matchup kind of teases. I went 4.5 for this one. It was literally every time an entrant came out, it was like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
It was a ton of fun. You know, sometimes it's okay to have a match that's just full of cheap pops. Oh, also, Adam Page got clattered by a fucking guitar on the ring apron.
He did.
Because he put his hands on Karen Jarrett, which was like unthinkable for babyface Adam Page to do. But you know, he's on the dark path.
He's unhinged.
He's evil cowboy now. He's evil horse. He's BoJack Horseman. He's not Seabiscuit. But yeah, what do you think of this match?
I had a fucking blast. I gave it 4.25, so very similar to you. I had a blast watching it live. I remember the entrances and the pops. I had a blast rewatching it as well. Excalibur said it best on commentary. I think he said it was a who's who of wrestlers, and he's fucking right. Yeah. You know, you've got different generations, regions, cultures, gimmicks. You've got a surprise in there. I fucking loved it. That being said, I agree with you that Christian winning with the Luchasaurus swerve that wasn't a swerve that was just felt a little bit flat, and I don't know if it was probably the right call to give it to Christian. Like, I agree with having Hangman still lose it because he would have been coming in as the hot favourite just in kayfabe, right? Yeah. But anyone else can see that the richer story is having him lose and descend further into madness, which is exactly what happened. So this is where I've done my rebooking.
Okay. Do you know what? I kind of thought this might be, because I feel like there's a lot you can do with it.
Yeah, I haven't. So the thing is obviously this Hangman arc that we've experienced from 24 to 25 culminating at that All In against Moxley, right? I don't want to touch that too much, but I think that overall story in AEW is so rich and interesting that you can just keep adding to it and it will just make things more interesting and there are more threads to pull at, sort of thing. So this is what I've tried to do anyway. So the winner isn't Christian, and we don't have that sort of weird fucky angled finish with Luchasaurus. Let's just fucking forget that. So Christian, what in real life, right? Let's take a look at what he does in real life. He sits on the contract for like 6 months anyway. He uses it to insert himself into the Moxley versus Adam Copeland match to make it a triple threat. Mostly just to fuck on Copeland. And you can have him just interfere in that match anyway and just have the same fucking outcome. So he doesn't need the contract. He's got enough fucking credit in the bank. He's a veteran. He's got enough like richness in the story with Copeland as well that you can just fucking have him in it. He doesn't need the excuse, right? Anyway, Okada wins the contract. Because Okada is fucking awesome and he is on a tear as the Continental Champion right now. I think he deserves it. And he could have easily won it anyway without anyone raising an eyebrow. Yeah. So I have him win. We can still have Hangman go close, but not close enough. He can miss out in the Gauntlet match in a finish where he can clear house. He can hit the buckshot lariat on Kyle O'Reilly. So this is the finish instead. Kyle O'Reilly, you're still taking the pin. I'm sorry, man. Hangman can drop down to go for the cover, but then Okada immediately comes in and throws him off, grabs Kyle's arm up, hits a quick Rainmaker, and then we get a 5, 4, 3, 2 countdown for the next entrant, but he covers before the next entrant comes out, which I think is another cool thing you can do. Like, you've got the anticipation of the crowd like, oh, who is it? But they never get that, and I fucking love that kind of shit. Anyway, Okada's won, the countdown stopped, and the camera closes in on Hangman's crazy fucking eyes like it did before anyway, and he scrambles to get back in the ring. He's just like, what the fuck? He's gonna go fucking mental. He stares at Okada, he lays him out, he buckshots him from the apron, massive clothesline, and he just stares at him with his crazy eyes. So we can still have the exact same stuff happen later in the main event with Hangman, and that doesn't affect anything. We just have a different contract winner. So Hangman's clearly lost it. He's on his fucking warpath, but he has the blow off with Swerve 2 weeks later at All Out anyway. And I mean, what happens on Dynamite happens on Dynamite. He fucking burns his family house down. It's fucking insane.
It's incredible. incredible.
In the preceding weeks after All Out as well, you've got Okada. He can be part of the Don Callis family and like sit on a silver bullet at the top of the company, and then he can wave it around as leverage, because Don Callis is a carny motherfucker, but getting him on TV more often is money as well. So have him with this silver bullet and Okada as like this is the fucking top guy, this is the John Cena of the fucking AEW, and we've got a silver bullet straight for the title. The person that holds the title is obviously the target, and I'm not going to spoil that just yet. But I mean, yeah, Callis family starts pushing mid-card wrestlers around and throwing their weight around and whatnot. Moxley can still win the title when he wins it, and the Death Riders can still be born and start their stranglehold on AEW. But when Okada has the banked shot and it's not Christian, I think that gives another threat to the Death Riders that wasn't a threat beforehand. So I don't think they really saw Christian as much of a threat. Although Christian's got a good thing going with the patriarchy and everything, he's not really much of a match for a motivated John Moxley and his gaggle of just fucking monsters, right? And the Death Riders. But I think if you have Okada and the Don Callis family as also a heel faction at the top of AEW against the Death Riders, that makes it brings the stakes up a little bit more, and the Death Riders aren't just like having the boring month to month like, oh, we've got a stranglehold sort of thing. So that's my thinking, right? But also Okada wins the Continental Classic again as usual. He's on a fucking tear. He's still undefeated, Continental champion for fucking 600 odd days, still the record holder, still got the contract. Hangman's fucking pissed off that Okada stole his opportunity at All In, obviously, and so when Okada cashes in, you can have him lose the match because Hangman's going to come back and he is fucking pissed, and he is on his warpath for Moxley this time and the AEW title. He can cost it out of pure spite, and because Okada stole his opportunity, the Don Callis family ends up losing their leverage. The Death Riders end up loving it, and they can use it as another wrinkle in their story for Hangman, clearing their way, like removing their only obstacle at the top. And then that can be again what tips Hangman again from lost and dark. He's already fucking lost and dark, by the way, to then just fucking nuclear, as if he hadn't already done that by burning down Swerve's house or like murdering security guards and shit, you know. Like, he can still retire Christopher Daniels, he can still face MJF as normal as at Revolution as well, just maybe without the focus that it got, because it felt like it was sort of half-baked. And then he can have a one-on-one match with Okada on a special episode of Dynamite, just not in a Continental title match, and then he can go over in his quest for All In and his Owen Hart Cup victory and all that. Not much changes after that. Yeah,
I like it. The one thing that I was like worried about was, well, what are you going to do with Okada and the contract? Because you can't touch that Hangman winning the title at All In moment, you know, like that's so big and it was done so perfectly that it's like you're scared to go near it. But yeah, I definitely agree that I don't think Christian was the best choice to win this. I can kind of see why they did it, and like, you know, the booking decision of like, well, we bring him in towards the end, he can win it, and it can still make it look like he's this kind of smarmy heel. But the teasing of the Luchasaurus thing, they kept it up for too long. Yeah. You know, even though the moment actually did get like quite a big pop when it happened, it still was, it was more like a, oh, finally it's happened, rather than like a, yes, he's done it, you know? It was more like a relief. But yeah, I like that idea.
Thank you.
And I like that you added a few bits without kind of trying to change too much about the Hangman story, because that was just, it was so good that like you had to kind of be delicate and gentle with it. Up next, shall we talk about this match?
Yes.
I suppose we should, because it's on the show. That makes it sound like this was a terrible match or something. It's not. It's the AEW American Championship, the artist formerly known as the AEW International Championship, and the champion MJF is taking on Will Ospreay. Now, I really wanted to make fun of Will Ospreay's entrance, because it's all like, Assassin's Creed. Yeah. I love Assassin's Creed. New Assassin's Creed game out November. But I know for a fact, if I was a wrestler, I would be coming out dressed as like a Bloodborne character all the time, and like I would name my moves after like Bloodborne weapons and stuff like that. So I can't really take the piss out of him. It's corny as hell though, I'll say that. It wasn't all that cool. And then MJF came out dressed as Apollo Creed. Yeah. I almost said Apollo Crews. Apollo Creed from right before he dies in Rocky 4.
Yeah.
But he's got on this like tall like top hat that's like got an American print
so
on it.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's like dented on the one side. It's like, mate, would you not just pop that out on your way to the ring? It looks ridiculous. And then they drop down an American flag with his face on it. There's blue, red, and white streamers, which I love. I kept getting distracted about the background of this match because for so much of the early going of this match, referee Bryce Remsburg is just struggling and fighting with the confetti that's like sort of dangling down from the rafters and landing in the ring. So that did take my attention a little bit. But Bryce Remsburg is on top form in this match. He does a really good job of playing like silly, goofy referee. At one point, Ospreay like uppercuts MJF. I don't know if you saw this. And a lump of spit comes flying out of MJF's mouth and it lands on Bryce Remsburg, which was really gross. Then there's also a spot where MJF blows his nose onto Ospreay, and Ospreay rebuts it by blowing his nose onto MJF. There's a spot where MJF is like, you're not special because you can do a flip. Anyone can do a fucking flip. And then he tries to do a springboard moonsault onto the outside on Ospreay, misses, lands on his feet though, and then Ospreay hits a standing Spanish fly. I don't think MJF gets enough credit for his like athleticism.
Oh, dude.
Because some of the stuff that he pulls off, because he's quite a buff guy, you know, like he's built like a brick shithouse, you know, for lack of a better term. But he's able to move so well in the ring. Like that moonsault was clean AF. If CM Punk had tried that, he would have landed on his ass. That's all I'm saying. I think he needs credit for his athleticism, his cardio, and his willingness to put people over and not worry about being made to look sort of foolish as well. Very often he gets his comeuppance, you know?
Yeah.
I think he understands very well what it takes to be sort of like an upper echelon, like heel champion. You know, yes, he's gonna, he will win the world title at points, and he will be a smarmy dick about it, and he will rub it in everyone's face. But at the end of the day, you know he's going to get his comeuppance. And I think it's something that I think a lot of people are afraid to do.
Yeah.
Because they're worried about where it's going to affect them and like, oh, but what about my place on the card? Is this going to bury me? And like everyone is so concerned with getting themselves over that they don't always realize that helping get other people over helps you get over. And I think, you know, MJF, credit to him, I think he's really good as like a heel champion, fighting beneath him, punching down on people. This was incredible. There was some seriously nuts spots. Like there's one spot where MJF is like hanging over the top rope, and Ospreay hits a shooting star press off the top rope onto him. You can see why Ospreay has neck issues. Yeah. Like some of these bumps that he takes in this match are crazy. Yeah, Ospreay wins it with the Tiger Driver as well, which was, I liked that this was another story going into it, was that he had used the Tiger Driver on Danielson at, was it Forbidden Door or was it Dynasty? It was one of the two. They'd had a match on pay-per-view, fantastic match, but Ospreay hits the Tiger Driver on Danielson, and Danielson does his beloved seizure spot. And since then, he's been afraid to do it again. But Danielson got in the ear of Ospreay beforehand and was like, hey, you need to do it. Like, if that's what it takes for you to win, you need to pull it out. He also fucking clatters a cameraman with a hidden blade. Like, Jesus Christ, that was a hefty whack that the cameraman got. But then there was a bit of like a too long referee distraction spot after that, where Bryce is like just looking over into the corner and being like, yeah, he needs help. He needs help. Yeah, get him some help. And it's like, okay, this is a bit much now. MJF does the spot with the championship belt. There's a low blow involved. He goes to get out the brass knuckles, but then a balaclavaed man appears on the apron, and that balaclavaed man is Daniel Garcia.
Yes.
Who MJF recently took out injured and took him out of action, put him on the shelf, and he gets involved, which helps Ospreay get the upper hand and then hit the Tiger Driver and win in 25 minutes and 50 seconds. I went 4.75 for this one because this was just insanely good. And it got me thinking about last week when we were talking about Double or Nothing 2019. And there was a few matches that you had issue with in terms of the lack of selling and things like that. And I think that this match balanced the selling perfectly with also still keeping a pace. It wasn't like 3 minutes in and both guys were climbing and clambering to their feet and 1,000,001 rest holds and whatever. Like they sold the moves appropriately, but then still managed to keep going as well.
Yeah, I gave it 4.5. So again, very, very similar to you. And yeah, in my notes as well, I put they both get it. They sell like death for one another, and they let the moments breathe enough too. They're both phenomenal. There's a gnarly Panama sunrise on Ospreay on the apron where he spikes his neck, just barely makes it back in the ring to the 10 count. Oh, dude, yeah, the cameraman spot, like you mentioned, this had a lot of good stuff. It was entertaining. You had a cool return with Daniel Garcia, some nice heel tactics like low blows and the title shot that spun Ospreay inside out from MJF. Ospreay winning with the Tiger Driver, like you mentioned, is a big deal, and it was part of the story going into it. I think, just as an aside, it's nice to have a move that you only break out very occasionally when you genuinely want to put people away. It was cool to have Christopher Daniels come out and present the real international title.
It was.
And for Will to be like, no, I don't want that American title. So yeah. And it was nice to be part of the crowd where a hometown boy put away the dickhead Yank, you know?
It's always good to see an American get their comeuppance.
Yes.
But did you notice when Christopher Daniels hands the international title over to Will Ospreay, Bryce Remsburg comes over to raise Ospreay's arm, and MJF is splayed out in the middle of the ring, and Bryce Remsburg just walks across him. I loved that. And that's another thing that, I will give MJF credit for, because that's something that he has no issue with, because it's because his character is that he's such a smarmy piece of shit and everyone hates him. Even the referees are like, oh, fuck you. I hate you. But there was also that spot, I think, was it from the Panama Sunrise when Ospreay gets in at 9 and MJF is like, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I loved that as well. But yeah, this was great. Yeah, it was a proper showcase of a heel champion versus babyface contender. Like you said, the hometown boy versus the kind of invading force almost. It was very kind of Ric Flair 80s territories. Yeah. I think MJF definitely takes a lot, not to say that he copies Ric Flair, but I definitely think he takes a lot of influence from that kind of heel of I'm better than you. And it's great. It works so well for him, especially when he keeps kayfabe as well as he does.
Yeah, honestly.
But yeah, so you went, what, 4.5?
I did.
I'm surprised that you went 4.5. I fully thought you would have gone 5 stars because Meltzer went 5 stars on this one.
Oh, fuck Meltzer.
You're like that sometimes.
I am sometimes like that.
Like with the CM Punk Cena match.
Well, yeah,
okay, fair enough.
That's just...
Up next, we have Mercedes Moné with Camille versus Britt Baker. This one was for the TBS Championship. Back when Mercedes Moné was only 2 belts Mercedes. Yeah. Obviously, she doesn't have any of those anymore, but she got to, what, was it 11 belts at one point?
Something like that, something crazy, yeah.
Crazy. Britt Baker has a pretty normal entrance, and then Mercedes Moné comes out in a gold carriage with some corgis in there with her, and I felt really bad for the corgis. Yeah, so I was like, they don't want to be in there. It's really loud. Poor babies. But she looked like $1 million.
Yeah, absolutely.
Apart from her wig. And it's that time of the show. It's Mercedes Moné wig watch. She had on this blue and red number with some white stripes in it. It took me ages to figure out what the pattern was on the side of the hair, but it was stars. I thought at first it was saying CEO, or maybe it said TBS, but it was just stars, and she just hadn't brushed the wig properly. But at least it stayed on her head, so that's an improvement. I was really disappointed by this match.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, Sam. I think this was my piss break match and I missed most of it.
It wasn't good. I don't think it was helped by the fact that it came after something like MJF Ospreay, where it was so intense and so kind of emotionally driven. Whereas this was kind of just like, on paper, this should have been really good.
Yeah.
But it never really got going. Like, it was just kind of slow and plodding, and it looked simultaneously clumsy and over-rehearsed. I don't think these two have got great in-ring chemistry. And I thought, like, I understand that Mercedes is the heel and she's got a manager, and so the manager is probably going to get involved, but I thought it just kind of, like, these two should have just been able to wrestle, you know, and not have the distraction of like the heel manager at ringside. And then we had another heel champion trying to use the belt to their advantage, which I think at this point is like the third time in the show.
Yeah.
It's a bit overdone. Also, Mercedes' finisher at this point, the Moneymaker, it's a really bad finisher. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look impactful. It doesn't look like it would take anyone out. Yeah, it was a shame because I was looking forward to this match. I do remember having like a thought in the back of my mind that was like, well, both of these women have like not long come back from an injury. Britt Baker by this point had kind of well-documented issues with multiple people backstage. So it was kind of like, how is this one going to go down? In the end, it went down as a 2-star match for me. 17 minutes, 25 seconds, which I will say this, to the match's credit, it didn't feel like it didn't drag at any point. But maybe that's just because I was watching it being like, oh, what are they going to fuck up next? But yeah, 2 stars, very, very average match. I just expected better from both of them.
Yeah, I think that's probably the main takeaway from this. It was just fine. I noted down that I don't know why I just had a bit of a disconnect with the story in this match. When we were watching it in person, I didn't pay attention. I just went off, probably got more beers and had a whiz. And then on the rewatch I was like, it's fine, but it's a disconnect. I like both of them.
Yeah.
And I expected more from them like you did. I went for 2.25. Yeah, bit of a struggle.
But up next, we get Jack Perry versus Darby Allin in a coffin match for the TNT Championship. Jack Perry is the TNT champion heading into this, and he has adopted the scapegoat character, which I really liked the scapegoat character. I don't know if it's a controversial opinion or not. Couldn't care less, to be honest. I like what I like. I really liked the goat mask that he would come out with. I thought that looked really cool. But it was an extension of the previous year's All In, when Jack Perry DDT'd Hook onto a limousine windshield and said, "It's real glass, bitch, cry me a river," which was a jab at CM Punk, who had complained recently about, I don't know, something about spots that other people did. I don't know. I think CM Punk should stay in his own fucking business.
Yeah.
Learn how to land on your feet, and then maybe you can talk shit about other people and what they do. But obviously that then triggered Company Man Punk, and he tried to choke out Jack Perry backstage at All In 2023. I remember when it happened, and like my phone buzzed, and I just like checked it, and it was like a Twitter notification that it was blowing up, that people were like, oh my god, there's been an incident backstage at All In. I was like, holy shit. Long story short, CM Punk left AEW, Jack Perry stayed but got like punished, and then he came back to AEW with this like scapegoat gimmick of like, well, I've been made the scapegoat of all these problems that are going on. Darby Allin he's Darby Allin. So that's what he does. This was the match that I completely misremembered the finish to.
Okay.
So I was pleasantly surprised to see Jack Perry get the win over Bart Simpson. It was a fine match,
fun.
I think it was a toilet break match for a lot of people, myself included. Definitely, I remember not being too invested. But the great thing about going to wrestling events or anything like that is there's never a queue for the women's bathroom. So I can just go in and do my business and get out. I think this is actually when I bought a t-shirt, and probably I think I bought some nachos as well. So that was fun. That was my interaction and experience with this match. There was another All In 2023 callback where Jack Perry pulled out a burlap sack from under the ring, and what was inside the burlap sack? Real glass, bitch. And I liked he kind of has this like little wry smile to the camera as he does it, and the crowd starts chanting "fuck CM Punk."
They also, we also chanted cry me a river.
Oh yes, we did, didn't we? I think I was actually chanting that from the concourse.
Yeah, probably.
Because it was pretty loud. But yeah, Perry ties up Darby's wrists with tape. He ties up his ankles with his belt, puts him in a body bag, and drop kicks him into the coffin and closes the lid on the coffin in 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Darby kind of got his ass fucking kicked in this match. He jobbed the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then we got a fun little post-match angle as well, where the Young Bucks came down. They covered Darby Allin in petrol. Then they closed the lid of the coffin, covered that in petrol. And then as Jack Perry went to light the lighter, the lights went out. I remember being back in my seat for this bit. The lights go out and Seek and Destroy starts playing. The crowd went ape shit. This was probably one of the biggest pops of the night.
God, yeah.
Because it's Sting. It's Darby Allin's cool dad. He fights off the Young Bucks and scapegoat Jack Perry and then carries his little son to the back to safety. What did you make of this kind of match / segment / whatever the fuck?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. It was put in that kind of spot in the card because you have Ospreay versus MJF. And it's a fucking great match. And then you've got the main event as like your tent poles and your like big emotional roller coaster one. So these two matches, the TNT title and the TBS title, they were sort of put in awkward positions, but I think they did all right with the position in the card. And, you know, in 10 minutes, they got quite a lot done.
Yeah.
Great to see Sting back and helping out his like weird son with a baseball bat, just like trying to fuck up the Bucks, which is pretty cool. Yeah, no, I gave it 2.75. It was fun, short, but did what it needed to do.
Yeah. I also went 2.75.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, Sting looked great. Like, he looked in fantastic shape. He looked healthy. Yeah, good for him. And, you know, we all got to sing Seek and Destroy. Yeah. Although the only words that I think anyone knows to that song are Seek and Destroy.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's a good time.
Those parts were very loud. Now, time for... How do you even describe this match appropriately? First of all, this is the main event of the evening. This is for the AEW World Championship, Men's World Championship, between Bryan Danielson and the champion Swerve Strickland, who is accompanied by Prince Nana. The story going into this one was that Bryan Danielson had basically come out and said that this is 2024, this is my last year as a full-time wrestler, and I want to spend more time with my family, which I think everyone understood. There was no one that was like, fuck this guy, because how could you say that? Like, he's got a young family.
Yeah.
He wants to be able to, you know, spend time with his kids and not, like, deteriorate his body completely. So, yeah, he said that this is his last year, but he would love to, before he goes out, hold the AEW Championship. So he wins the men's Owen Hart tournament, which means that he moves on to Wembley to face Swerve Strickland for the World Championship. He puts his career on the line, because stakes, baby, and we gotta sell tickets. But, you know, he basically at this point was like, well, the next time it was kind of a Ric Flair situation, whereas the next time I lose, that's me done. So we get this, like, beautiful, emotional video package beforehand of Bryan talking about, like, how much he loves wrestling, and, like, from day one, wrestling has been his love. And then it kind of transitions into videos and pictures of him with his two kids and with his wife, and saying that, like, I do this for you and I can't wait to be with you from now on. Like, I choose you over everything, basically. And then what song plays but the fucking final countdown? The crowd goes nuts. There's 46,000 people in this arena, but when the chorus of this song hits, it may as well be 146,000. Oh, yeah. It is so loud. It is insane. Bryan's kids and his wife, Brie Bella, are at ringside. His two little babies, Buddy and Birdie. Buddy is so adorable. I think he's probably like 2 years old. So he has no idea what's going on. Like, there's not a thought behind those eyes. But Birdie, I think at this point, she must be about 4 or 5. Yeah, so we have that entrance. And then we get Swerve's entrance. The crowd, as Danielson is making his entrance, the crowd is so firmly behind him. Full disclosure, I don't know the guys that came out and, like, did the MCing and the rapping for Swerve's entrance. I'm guessing they're, like, producers that he knows and rappers that he knows and, like, guys who recorded his entrance theme. But when the first guy says, "Whose house?" that's it. The crowd has switched. The crowd, we all say Swerve's house. Because this man, no matter how despicable his actions or what he does, he is just so fucking cool that you can't help but like cheer for him as well. And he's got this gear on as well that's like black and gold gear, and it says Swerve the 8th on it because he's the 8th world champion. And he gets this like jacket on, and he just like, he looks incredible. He's got Prince Nana dancing by his side. The crowd is like I said, you can't not just think that this man is dripping with like just fucking coolness, because we all wanted to boo him, right? He was the biggest bastard going at the time. Also, before Bryan won the Owen Hart tournament, Swerve was a babyface, and then Bryan wins the tournament, and Swerve has to kind of change up and go a bit heelish, and he does it in such a way that it's like, he doesn't do anything like, you know, he doesn't break into Bryan's house like he did with Hangman or anything like over the line, but he just tells Bryan, like, I'm going to dissect you piece by piece. Like, I'm going to be the one that retires you. And he kind of revels in the idea that he could be the one that ends Danielson's career. And it's such a subtle, like, little, no, not even subtle, but it's a nicely done heel turn that it's not so like over the top and dramatic. But yeah, Swerve is just, he's so fucking cool. Like, he's so cool. This match as well, like, where do you even begin to talk about this match? Like, I didn't take notes about like move by move for this because I wanted to just watch it and absorb it. And it's like the first kind of chunk of the match is Swerve is on top. It's kind of similar to Bryan versus Triple H at WrestleMania 30. Yeah. Where Bryan is just kind of being like brutalized, but he's the underdog. He's going to keep going. He fights back and whatever. Swerve starts doing the stomps on Danielson, or he's about to, and he looks over at Danielson's family in the front row, and he's like, oh, I've got an idea. And he drags Danielson out in front of his kids and starts stomping on his like neck and shoulder. And obviously Buddy's got no fucking idea what's going on. No. He's like, he just wants to watch Paw Patrol. But poor Birdie is like, she's terrified. Yeah. And Swerve like gets in her face basically and is like, you want to spend time with your daddy, this is what I'm doing for you. I'm giving that to you. Yeah. And it's like, you Swerve, you bastard. Like, she's crying. She's terrified. Like, the poor thing. She's just a baby. Bryan gets busted open at one point as well. And that's like, for his kids to like see that must have been crazy for them. I did see, or I read or something, that after the match, Swerve came backstage and like spoke to Bryan and his family to just kind of like clear the air or whatever. But Birdie was like genuinely terrified of him. Oh man. So he had to get onto her level and be like, hey, I'm really sorry. Like, I have a lot of respect for your dad. Like, I love your dad and all this. So I think they made up in the end. But good. It was just like, he's so good at that, like, despicable, like, very kind of edge-like kind of things where he will find a new low to kind of go to. But he's so cool that it never comes across as, like, you know how sometimes Edge could come across as like a bit nerdy or a bit goofy or whatever? Swerve never has that problem because he's too fucking cool. Yeah. Like, the way he moves, the way he dresses, like everything like that, like, is just... I'm a big fan of Swerve Strickland, basically, if that isn't clear enough already. But Bryan starts like fighting back eventually. Swerve starts doing like the yes kicks, or, you know, as The Miz calls them, the it kicks. But all this does is like hulks Bryan up. And then it gets very emotional because he's getting like walloped in the chest and he's like staring at his family and yelling at them like, I love you so much, I love you, as he's like getting kicked. And I'm like, he loves his family. And then he goes for the Psycho knee in the corner, and Swerve literally, not even no-sells it, he brushes it off. Like, he literally brushes his chest. And he's like, whatever. He hits him with like 4 house calls, one of which he's like, Bryan is like staring again at his family. He's on his knees. He has his back to Swerve. Swerve hits the house call. And at this point, like, for all the world, everyone in the stadium, we thought that was it. Yeah. We were like, oh, this is, like, he's facing his family, like, he's apologizing to them. Like, he says, I'm sorry to them. Like, they catch that on the camera. And Swerve hits him with another house call. And then he fucking kicks out. Yeah. And the crowd comes unglued. It's absolute peak. You know, it's cinema. It's Martin Scorsese meme. It's fantastic. And then he starts fighting back again. We then get a Hangman appearance. He comes out, he starts like tossing security guards left and right. He gets rid of Prince Nana, and Swerve is like looking like he's seen a ghost. Eventually, like 12 security guards come and get Hangman away. And again, Bryan hits a running knee on Swerve, but gets a 2 count. He locks in the label lock twice because Swerve almost breaks out of it the first time. Locks it in tighter the second time. Swerve has to tap. And Bryan Danielson is world champion in 26 minutes on the nose. This match, if I could give this match more than 5 stars, I would. However, I fit to a strict 5-star rating system.
Yeah.
This match is 5 stars. This is my favourite match of all time. No doubt. Move over Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura at TakeOver Dallas. I'm sorry, but this is just everything. This is so good. You knew it was going to be because of the 2 men involved, but it was just... Because not only was it like this emotional storytelling match, but there was also good wrestling in it as well. Even without any of the like the drama and sports entertainment goodness, if you will, like it's still such a good match. But then you add in that whole Danielson retirement angle into it and like his kids at ringside. It's perfect. It's better than the previous year's main event, and the previous year's main event was damn good too.
Oh, dude, honestly.
But even on the rewatch, this had me in tears.
It's so fucking so good. I agree with you. 5 stars. Absolutely. This match can probably be summed up best by saying Bryan Danielson is the best wrestler who's perhaps ever lived, and Swerve Strickland was probably the best wrestler in 2024 overall, and both of them created some fucking magic together that night. It was fucking insanely good. What a fucking match. Appreciated even more so in retrospect, not fucking 50 beers deep late at night with a full day behind me.
Yeah.
The drama, there was blood, you got the emotion, you got the comeback, you got the close falls, you got the interference, you've got the story interminglings with the Hangmans, you got Prince Nana, Prince Nana fucking dancing in front of Brie and Birdie while Swerve is caving in. Danielson's chest is insane. Swerve, Bryan, Hangman, the ring bell that clocked Bryan, the referee, Bryan's family, even the commentary desk, you've got JR on commentary. Oh god, he's fucking... Oh, he just adds to it. He adds that bit of gravitas to it. The counter wrestling, both of them know each other so well, and again, they give each other so much. The finishing moves, the selling, the big spots, everything. Oh, yes. Just fucking amazing.
The thing is like, I don't think that Swerve and Danielson had ever wrestled before this. Like, I think this is their first match against each other, but the chemistry that both of them have is just incredible. And on a note about the Hangman interference, yes, you could look at that on paper and be like, ugh, interference in the main event. But it's not done to a point where it's distracting from the rest of the match. Like, you almost forget that it's happened because it's such a short moment.
Yeah.
That it's just kind of like, it plants the seed of doubt in Strickland's mind, almost. That, like, no matter what happens in this match, if you win, you've still got him chasing you. Like, he's still after you, you know, and I think that adds a little wrinkle to it
it's
as well.
It's not the fucking Undertaker teleporting into the ring in the main event, giving a choke slam or whatever, and then disappearing.
Yeah. But I genuinely think that you could show this match to anyone who doesn't know kind of what wrestling is about or doesn't quite get it or whatever, and I think they would get it.
Oh, it's a perfect wrestling match, isn't it?
It's so fucking good. And again, Swerve in 2024, he was him. Mm-hmm. He had such a run in 2024. He only held the title for about 4.5 months.
Yeah.
But it was such a good run.
Yeah.
Like, that some of the people that he'd beaten during that run, like he'd beaten Ospreay, he'd beaten Joe, he'd beaten Christian Cage. I think he'd beaten... I could be wrong. I think he beat Kenny Omega at some point, or was he out at that point? Either way, he had some big fucking wins under his belt that year. Like, they really ran with Swerve in 2024. I look at it and I'm like, how the fuck did WWE fumble this guy so bad? Because you look at him in that ring. He's a stud. He has the look, he has the entrance, he has the moveset.
Aura.
I know that the kids love to say that word a lot, but like he has got an aura about him. Yeah, he's so cool. Like the way he walked to the ring during his entrance, like so slowly, just like a predator kind of stalking his prey. And he plays that like kind of psycho killer champion, or not even champion, just that psycho killer heel, like so well that you're like, what depths will he sink to in order to kind of get his way or get what he wants, you know? Like
very cerebral as well, like everything's like meticulous, and he's like every decision is a decision that makes sense. Like he doesn't necessarily fly off the handle and go too deep emotionally into stuff, but he's just calculating. It's
why his feud with Hangman worked so well. Because Hangman is the complete opposite. Hangman is like this emotional guy. He wears his heart on his sleeve. Yeah. You can get to him. He hasn't got thick skin. Whereas Swerve is, like you said, he's cool, calm, and collected. You know, he knows what he's doing. He knows every move apart from getting his childhood house burnt down. He didn't see that one coming. But you know, his thing is to get inside his opponent's head, and he does it so well that, like, you know, we went into that match genuinely not sure. Like, I remember speaking about it beforehand. We were like, we're either going to see Bryan Danielson win a world championship at Wembley, or we're going to watch Bryan Danielson's last match. Like, we didn't know, because Swerve was on such a good run as champion at that point. And, you know, obviously we knew Danielson, his career was coming up. Like you know, it was coming to an end at that point. We didn't know what we were going to witness. So every time Danielson kicked out, there was a near fall. The relief and the joy that was in the crowd was real. It wasn't playing along with the show kind of thing. It was like, oh my God, he's still in it. This could actually be happening. Yeah. The fact that we were there as well, it's something that's not lost on me. Like, that is a historic moment. That's you know, that's a pro wrestling history moment right there. That's an AEW moment, TM, an All In moment, if you will. And we were there for it. And you know, it's fun to think, like, what are we going to be there for this year? What crazy shit are we going to see this year? New Day in AEW, maybe. I hope we get another like gauntlet match with a contract on the line, and they do that. I can't remember. Did they do that last year at Texas? I can't even remember. There'll be some sort of gimmicky match for us to get our teeth into anyway, won't there? There always is, isn't there? Like the first year, I think it was Stadium Stampede. Then last year it was the gauntlet match. So they'll probably do something similar. I mean, it won't be like a blood and guts, I guess, but no. You might get like a big street fight or something. Or I would like to see another Casino Gauntlet match. I think that'd be fun. Overall, I gave this show 4.5 out of 5. Hey, same. Nice. Yeah, I think we had a couple of, not duds, but like low points with like Mercedes, Britt Baker. That wasn't great. Jack Perry, Darby Allin was serviceable. Same with like Hook and Jericho. I think they were more like, they were fun to kind of be in the arena for. Yeah. Because they were, you know, weapon gimmicky kind of matches. But then you also, you had MJF, Ospreay, Danielson, Swerve, obviously. You had that Casino Gauntlet match. The FTR Young Bucks Acclaimed triple threat. Like, everything else pretty much fucking... Like, Mariah May, Toni Storm, Jesus Christ, how could I forget that? Like, these all delivered. My average match rating, I did my nerdy statistics, my average match rating was 3.8. I think 2 matches kind of dragged that down. Would you like to know who best dressed and worst dressed is? Yes, please. Worst dressed, I wanted to say MJF just because of the gaudy fucking American gear, but I thought, you know what? He's done it well. Like, it fits his character and whatever. Yeah. So worst dressed is Darby Allin in that crusty fucking pink jacket. I hate it so much. It's disgusting. Please stop wearing it. I know you won't, because you are disgusting and don't shower. He's like the Asmongold of professional wrestling. Ugh, he's so gross. For best dressed, I have a winner and I have 2 honorable mentions as well. So, my honorable mentions are, first of all, Swerve. Like I said, he had that really cool Swerve the 8th with, like, there was a picture of him, like, sitting on a throne with heads on a pike of, like, the people he'd beaten during his run. And also, just, like, the black and gold color was nice. He had some, like, gold not ringlets. He had some, like, gold jewelry in his dreads and stuff as well. Looked really cool. Shout out to Toni Storm, obviously, as well. always looks fabulous. I love like a long gown that kind of trails behind. I would have said Mercedes Moné, but she did the whole like queen thing, and as an Irish woman, I can't really be positive about that. But Toni Storm, fantastic as always. My best dressed, and the reason I wanted to talk about the pre-show, Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, nice.
She debuted a very drastically different new look with the kind of flower power thing going on, the gorgeous orange hair with the big curls, the big like orange fluffy jacket that she had on as well. She looked $1,000,000, and I can't wait to see her get the AEW Women's Championship back again. Folks, we have a fun little thing for all of y'all. A little treat. Think of this as like the shitty little chocolate sweet that they give you in the restaurant on your way out for you to chew on. As it's the World Cup, I came up with the idea of, what if we do like a little starting 11 football players, but they're wrestlers for me and Jack. So I'll let you go first because you had an assistant manager and I didn't.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so my formation is a 4-4-2 diamond.
Brexit Paul.
Our manager is Paul Heyman.
Okay.
And the assistant manager is William Regal.
Okay, I thought you might pick William Regal in one of those roles. I had a feeling.
In goal, we've got the Big Show.
Okay.
7 foot and commands his area. You know, I'm not talking about Big Show like now, and also just because I wanted to name him on the pod.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a few weeks. Yeah, we miss him.
Yeah, but also like back in his day, he could move.
He could move. Yeah,
so
yeah.
20-year-old Big Show or something. At right back, we've got Rey Mysterio.
Okay, fair enough.
So he can get up and down on the right side all day long. He's quick as fuck, and he's got a leap on him as well, so he won't get caught in the air very often.
That is true.
At right centre back, we've got John Cena, who is also the vice captain.
Okay.
He is an athletic genetic freak who can lead from the back, and he is the mobile ball player next to the other left centre back, Andre the Giant, who is fucking immovable, and he is the wall. So you got John Cena playing the ball out, and Andre's just like, you can't pass me. At left back, we've got AJ Styles. Mostly for balance and athleticism. He can defend his side and also start attacks because he's quite sprightly. Yeah. Defensive midfielder will be our captain of the side, Mr. Bret Hart. He sits at the base of midfield and he is the brain of the team and he runs the game from deep. Our centre mid on the left is Samoa Joe. He is engine number 1 in the midfield and he will act as a destroyer. On the right side of midfield, centre midfield that is, it's Bryan Danielson. He is engine number 2 and the best technician on the pitch. In attacking midfield, in the number 10 behind the 2 strikers, at the tip of the diamond, is Eddie Guerrero. He is our shithouse number 10. He lies, he cheats, he steals, and he wins penalties that never were penalties. And now for our 2 strikers, okay? They both got a fucking mouth on them, and they're both probably considered the best in the world. We've got a strike partnership of Stone Cold Steve Austin and CM Punk. They both fucking press, they both score, they both fight. Steve Austin can be like Alan Shearer mixed with Diego Costa. CM Punk can be like the star man that Heyman has to keep sweet, you know, and he's like really good on his day. He's the Ronaldo. Yeah. Okay, so I didn't pick an assistant manager, so I guess I'll be the assistant manager, but I've gone MVP for the manager. Nice, I like that.
Yeah, I like MVP. I think he's got a swagger about him. I think he'd be a good man manager for some of these players that I've picked. But also he can put some ruthlessness into these guys as well. Nice. Turn him into weapons somewhat. In goal, I've gone for the Big Show as well. Again, 7 foot tall, commands the area, and also I miss him. You know, I want him to come back. I'm gonna name both my fullbacks at the same time because I feel like you have to say both these guys at the same time. And it doesn't really matter which side they're on. They can interchange with each other. I've gone Nick and Matt Jackson as my fullbacks. I just had it in my brain that I was like, you know what, a tag team as the fullbacks.
I like it.
They'll have that good chemistry where one will know that the other one's going forward, so he has to stay back a bit. And they're speedy guys like you had with Ray and AJ. They can get up and down the wings fairly quickly and launch an attack. And they're good counter wrestlers, so I feel like they would be good at starting a counter attack too. On the right side of my central defense defense, this would be my sort of ball-playing centre-back. Oh, by the way, I've gone 4-2-3-1 because I'm woke, and that's what Mikel Arteta uses, and I don't have a personality of my own. But my right-sided centre-back, my ball-playing defender is Gunther. He's got the strength. He would be good on set pieces, but also I think, you know, he's got a bit of style. He's got a bit of swaz about him. I would feel confident of him kind of carrying the ball out of defence and into midfield when needed. Left side of centre-back is my kind of no-nonsense centre-back, the one that's just going to get up in the air and clear corners. 92nd minute, you're holding on to a 1-0 win. The ball falls to him, he's just going to boot it up the pitch, you know, get it away from danger. I've gone for Sheamus.
Nice.
Also, I wanted some Irish representation in the team as well. We haven't made the World Cup. Moving then into the centre of my midfield, I've gone number 6, I've gone John Moxley.
Nice.
I think he could do well sort of sitting in front of the defence as Nicholas and Matthew kind of bomb up the wings and not leave too many gaps. Maybe Gunther and Sheamus can go out a bit wider that way. He's aggressive, you know, but he also can get things going. He's a man motivator as well. So I think I'd probably pick him as my captain too. He'll get behind everybody. He'll make sure that no one is, you know, there'll be no passengers on that pitch, and he can recycle things nicely. My number 8, so my more kind of deep-lying playmaker, I guess, is Claudio Castagnoli.
Cool.
Very fit. You know, he's got a great engine about him. He can go for a full 90 minutes. He can go for a full 120 minutes and not complain. I could see him sort of pinging a long ball up towards sort of the number 10 or the striker a lot, being able to kind of join in on the attack, but still being physically strong enough that if we needed him to step back a bit and we were under pressure, he could also drop deeper a little bit as well. In my number 10 role, I've gone Seth Rollins.
Nice.
He's the architect. He's got that flair. He's got that style about him. That was pretty much it. I just thought, Seth Rollins, he's the architect. You know. My wingers, on the left wing, I've gone Swerve Strickland.
Nice, yeah.
Again, he's got that kind of style and flair. I feel like he would be pretty fearless going up against his fullback. I think he would get inside the head of his fullback nicely. If his fullback that's marking him got on a yellow card early, he would do very well to kind of wind up player, maybe get him a second booking. I think he'd do well at that. He's got the pace, obviously, and I feel like he would cut inside a lot as well. So he would be a winger, but also could play as like an inside forward too. On the right wing, I've gone for Will Ospreay.
Nice.
The aerial assassin. I can envision him sort of pinging in crosses onto the head of the striker. Also, he's got like some nice movement about him as well, but he's not going to be bullied off the ball either. You know, he's added that bit of aggression to his game. He's got a bit more mat based with his wrestling. So I feel like that could help him going sort of shoulder to shoulder with a wing back, or, you know, if he has to cut inside and go up against a centre back or whatever, he would fare pretty well. My centre forward, I've gone Kazuchika Okada.
Nice.
Now this is one that I did a lot of thinking about. You know, I feel like a lot of wrestlers, you can kind of, because they're big guys and whatever, you picture them as being like centre backs or like centre midfield players and whatever, you know? And I was like, oh, who as a striker? And I went between Okada and Randy Orton as my striker. So maybe there you go, Randy Orton is my substitute. Yeah, Okada up top. He's tall. He's got those long legs that he can kind of outpace a defender, but he can also run onto a ball nicely as well. He doesn't fuck about. Like he's very professional. He's very clinical with what he does, and I could see him banging in like a fair few goals. That's Manta's 11.
Nice. I like it. Yours is a more like grounded in reality version, and mine is just like, oh my god, what can we do?
Yeah, but I think that's fun as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
We've reversed the Smark and Soul roles.
Yeah, funny that, isn't it?
For a change, you know? Yeah. Folks, announcement time. We're going to be taking a little bit of a break for a few weeks.
Yes.
As like a little bit of a mid-season break. I guess kind of just while the World Cup is on, we want to watch as many games as possible. And we also, you know, we want to get some more episodes sort of in the bank.
Yes.
We don't want to be worrying about getting things out on time for y'all. And, you know, we want to come back fighting fit. We don't want to burn out talking about wrestling. You know, we know how hard that can be sometimes. We're going to take a break for a few weeks, probably until the World Cup is finished. So what, like 4 weeks? That's fine. You guys can survive. But in the meantime, I'll be posting on the socials, the Smirk and Soul Pod on Instagram. I'll be on Twitch, twitch.tv/mantamarmy, probably playing Bloodborne. Jack, what have you got going on in the meantime? What are you going to be up to?
Oh, sweet fuck all. But it's a nice thing, sweet fuck all, you know?
Yeah, sometimes it's good to have sweet fuck all.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, if you need me to help out on any social stuff, then I'll get involved with that as and when. So yeah, all good on my end.
So, folks, for the last time, for the next few weeks, I've been Samantha,
And I've been Jack.
and it's been lovely to talk to you about wrestling once again. And we'll see you in a bit.
See you next time.
Bye.
1,